Have you ever felt that piercing sense of loneliness when you wake up in the morning, as if the world has suddenly forgotten you? It's that haunting feeling, like you're invisible, unloved, and left behind by those you once held dear. I'm Dr. James, and after decades of listening to the stories of people just like you, I know that feeling all too well. Often, the pain of feeling unloved in our later years isn't because our children or our friends have stopped caring. It can be a sign of deeper societal shifts, of our own changing roles, and sometimes even the result of internal battles we've been fighting for years, without even realizing it. You see, when you feel unloved, it's not just an emotional state. It has real, tangible consequences on your body and your brain. Research in gerontology tells us that loneliness is like a slow poison, affecting everything from our stress hormones to our memory function. When we lack genuine connection, our bodies produce more cortisol, that nasty stress hormone, which in turn can damage the hippocampus, the very center for memory in our brain. I've seen patients come in with complaints of constant forgetfulness, and over time, it became clear that their persistent loneliness was more than just a feeling. It was accelerating their decline. So why do we feel unloved in the first place? For many, it starts with a shift in our world. Our children, once our whole universe, grow up and move away, lost in the demands of their own lives. Friends drift apart as time and circumstances change. And sometimes, we even stop nurturing the relationships that once sustained us. The sense of abandonment can seep into our bones, leaving us questioning our worth and wondering if we somehow failed as a parent, as a friend, or even as ourselves. It can leave us feeling empty, isolated in a world that seems to have moved on without us. I recall a patient named Evelyn, a vibrant woman in her early 80s, who used to host family gatherings every Sunday. Over time, the visits became less frequent, phone calls dwindled, and the once lively home grew eerily quiet. She spent nights staring at the empty phone, wondering, what did I do wrong? Evelyn's story isn't unique. It's one of many reminders that as our roles change, so do the ways others connect with us. But here's the thing, feeling unloved is not a death sentence. There are ways to turn this around. And while the reasons behind our loneliness are complex, the solutions can be surprisingly practical and, more importantly, immediate. One of the first steps you can take is to deliberately reconnect with others. Studies consistently show that regular social interaction not only reduces stress and cortisol levels, but also boosts oxytocin, a hormone that helps maintain our emotional well-being and even protects the brain against cognitive decline. When we engage with others, whether it's a friendly chat at the local cafe or a heartfelt conversation with an old friend, we remind our brains that we belong. I remember another patient, George, who used to sit alone for hours until he realized that even a simple walk to a community center and striking up a conversation with a neighbor could brighten his day. The transformation in his mood and outlook was remarkable. By actively seeking connection, you send a powerful message to your brain. You are needed, you are valued, and you belong. Sometimes, the simple act of reaching out can seem daunting. The silence we experience might make us think we have nothing left to offer. But it's exactly at moments like these that a small gesture of connection can make all the difference. Consider putting aside even just 15 minutes of your day to call a friend or to join a local group. Over time, those small interactions can accumulate into a robust network of social support, reviving your spirit and ultimately, your brain. At the same time, another powerful tool in combating that deep-seated sense of being unloved is self-compassion. Learning to be kind to yourself when the world feels cold. Modern research in psychology shows that mindfulness and self-compassion can reshape the brain, fortify emotional resilience, and even improve cognitive function. Think of it this way: when you're harsh on yourself for feeling unloved, you're only adding fuel to the fire. Instead, when you treat yourself with kindness, whether through a quiet meditation session, journaling about what you're grateful for, or simply speaking soothing words to yourself, you create an internal environment where healing is possible. I once had a patient, Marion, who felt overwhelmed by self-criticism and loneliness after her children moved to different cities. When she started practicing daily mindfulness and self-compassion exercises, she found that the heavy burden of loneliness began to lift, replaced by a softer, nurturing dialogue inside her head. It's not about ignoring your feelings, but about acknowledging them without letting them define you. There is a scientific basis for this too. Studies published in JAMA Psychiatry have shown that mindful self-compassion not only lowers cortisol levels, but also enhances connectivity in brain regions associated with emotion regulation. This means that taking a few minutes each day to be kind to yourself isn't just feel-good advice, it's a measurable way to improve your mind. And then there's the undeniable power of movement. Regular physical activity isn't just about keeping the body in motion. It's one of the most effective ways to boost brain health. Exercise increases the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein that's essential for the growth of new neurons and the maintenance of neural connections. I've watched firsthand how a simple daily walk or even a session of gentle stretching can transform the lives of older adults. One of my patients, Samuel, in his late 70s, discovered that incorporating a brisk 20-minute walk into his morning routine not only improved his mood, but also sharpened his memory. There's a straightforward science behind this. Physical activity gets the blood flowing, delivering oxygen and nutrients to your brain, and helps reduce inflammation, a known factor in cognitive decline. You might wonder if it's possible to regain that sense of vitality through movement. The answer is yes, and it doesn't require strenuous exercise. Even moderate activity like gardening, swimming, or simply dancing to your favorite song can signal your brain to ramp up its repair mechanisms. It's a practical, accessible way to feel more alive and deeply connected to your body, counteracting the isolation that makes you feel unloved. Another powerful way to reclaim a sense of purpose when feeling unloved is to volunteer or pursue activities that give your life meaning. There's robust research from the journals of gerontology showing that volunteering is associated with lower levels of depression and better cognitive outcomes in older adults. When you contribute to a cause that resonates with you, be it mentoring, community service, or simply lending a hand at a local charity, something profound happens. You begin to feel needed. You start to see that your life has a purpose beyond your immediate circumstances. I recall a story of a retired teacher who began tutoring local children. At first, she was hesitant. She felt too old to make a difference. But as she immersed herself in that role, her self-esteem soared, and she reported a remarkable improvement in her overall mental and emotional well-being. The act of giving created a feedback loop of love and gratitude from the recipients and within herself that reminded her, and eventually everyone around her, that she was far from unloved. This isn't just sentimental talk. The science behind it is clear. Meaningful engagement releases endorphins and reinforces neural pathways related to memory and emotional regulation, acting as a natural defense against cognitive decline. Sometimes, though, even the strongest among us need a little extra help. That's why seeking professional support or counseling is a crucial step for many who feel the weight of loneliness and emotional neglect. Neuroimaging studies have confirmed that therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy can bring about changes in the brain's structure, enhancing areas responsible for emotional regulation. I have sat through countless sessions with patients who, after years of burying their pain, finally found relief and clarity through professional counseling. These sessions often reveal that the feeling of being unloved is not an objective truth, but a distorted mirror reflecting unresolved trauma and unmet emotional needs. We're back with Resonation. By talking to a trained professional, you can begin to untangle those knots, rebuild your self-image, and restore a sense of worth that no one can take away from you. It's important to understand that feeling unloved in old age isn't a failure on your part. It's an outcome of the many forces at play in our complex, modern world. Our relationships evolve as we age. Our children, once so wrapped up in us, now forge their own paths. And sometimes the communication between generations falters, not out of malice, but as a result of life's relentless pace and shifting priorities. And yet, that silent gap can be filled, if only by taking deliberate, sometimes uncomfortable steps to reclaim the connection with yourself and with others. Consider the simple act of starting your day with gratitude, a practice that has been shown to reduce stress and increase feelings of connectedness. I remember a gentleman named Leonard who, after retiring, felt a deep void left by the absence of daily family interactions. He began each morning by writing down just 3 things he was grateful for. Over time, that small ritual ignited a spark of hope, eventually encouraging him to reconnect with old friends and even reach out to estranged family members. What seemed like a trivial habit turned into a powerful catalyst for emotional renewal. Now, if you're listening to this, take a moment and ask yourself, what can you do right now to change this narrative? Are you willing to step out of your isolation, to practice self-compassion even when the loneliness feels overwhelming, to engage in activities that not only keep you physically active, but nourish your soul? The answers may not be easy at first, but every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a life where you don't feel unloved and forgotten. It might sound overwhelming, but here's the truth. By combining these strategies, you can create a ripple effect that transforms your daily life. Start by reaching out to someone, a neighbor, an old friend, or even joining a local club. Allow yourself the simple joy of connection. Then, set aside a few minutes every day for mindfulness or self-compassion exercises. Move your body in any way that feels natural, and dare to volunteer or involve yourself in meaningful activities that reaffirm your worth. And if deep-seated pain still lingers, don't hesitate to seek professional guidance. Remember, it's not about waiting for someone else to love you. It's about rediscovering the love and strength that has always resided within you. Before we close, I want you to realize one thing. Feeling unloved is a painful truth, but it is not irreversible. Your loneliness, your doubts, your fears, they can all be challenged and overcome. By choosing to make changes, however gradual, you send a powerful message to your brain and your heart. You are still here, you still matter, and you are worthy of love. So today, Take that first step, make that call, write that note, join that group. Allow your life to be shaped not by the absence of love, but by the presence of connections you create. I leave you with this message. It isn't too late to rewrite your story. Even if you feel unloved now, every moment offers a chance for renewal. Embrace the power of change, the science behind connection, and the deep, resilient love that exists within you. Your life is far too precious to be spent in silence. Let your actions be the spark that lights a fire of hope, validation, and genuine human connection. Thank you for listening, for sharing in this journey, and for daring to believe that you can reclaim the love and the life you deserve. I'm Dr. James, reminding you that it's never too late to find your voice, to reach out for connection, and to rebuild the warm, loving relationships that enrich our lives. Stay aware, stay courageous, and above all, never stop believing that you are worthy of love.